this is Dr. Meghan Karol. I am a pelvic health physical therapist. Today what we're going to be talking about is pelvic organ prolapse. So previously I talked about one of the jobs of the pelvis is to support your pelvic organs up and in your body all day, every day. So in your pelvis, what you have in the front is your bladder, and then your vaginal canal right behind that with your uterus, or maybe what they'll call like a vaginal vault if you've had a hysterectomy sitting above that. And then directly behind that is your rectum and the lower part of your intestinal tract. So with those, I like to almost think about, say that they were almost like a 3-compartment duffel bag all sitting next to each other. Sometimes what happens is gravity, maybe there's been some injury to the passive support, like your connective tissue, your ligaments sort of holding those organs up and in. So sometimes those can start to descend down, typically intruding in on the vaginal canal. So sometimes it's the bladder protruding backwards into the vaginal canal, coming down. Sometimes it's the rectum sort of protruding forward into the vaginal canal, coming down, or sometimes it's the uterus or that vaginal vault, sort of the top of the vaginal canal that starts to descend down. Now, a common question is people are like, what, my bladder is inside my vagina? That's sort of weird. And it's not quite like that. So again, if you think about that 3-compartment duffel bag, if you overstuff one side of it with a bunch of t-shirts and shoes and things like that, that's going to encroach in onto the space of that center compartment. So that's sort of what pelvic organ prolapse is. You'll notice this, and I will say severity and symptoms don't always match up. Sometimes people are walking around day to day with a pretty severe prolapse and they could be none the wiser. Other people have a very mild prolapse but just feel all these symptoms. But things that are going to kind of clue your brain into of maybe a prolapse is a heaviness, a dragging, maybe a bulging sensation. Maybe you actually do look with a mirror and you see a bulging, especially if you kind of hold your breath or press down a little bit, and especially you might want to kind of push open the vulva on either side to be able to see into that vaginal canal. And if you see a bulging down towards you, that would be a sign of a prolapse. Sometimes people will even say, like, it feels like I'm wearing a tampon, but I know I'm not wearing a tampon. Like, it's just something that's not quite right there. So I highly encourage you to check in with a pelvic physical therapist or your gynecologist and ask to be checked for a prolapse. Sometimes they're very apparent as you're on the exam table laying down. Sometimes with you laying down and gravity's almost kind of assisting, holding things up and in, sometimes it becomes more pronounced or more prevalent when you're actually standing up. So depending on your gynecologist or the therapist you're working with, they might be comfortable doing a standing evaluation to see the extent of that prolapse, and then can address those symptoms it's giving you.